be my July 2022 reflections and favorites. I literally cannot believe that it's August already. I don't know where the time has gone. It's literally flown by at a really fast rate. I don't know what's going on. I thought June went by fast. July flew by. But anyways, it's August now, which means it's basically Halloween. So if anybody agrees with me, please comment down below because, yeah, it's spooky season. So I feel like I do and don't have a lot of favorites for this month. So I feel like I played a lot with tarot, but I also was reading quite a bit last month. So that kind of took up a lot of my time. I also had like shows and that kind of thing that were really interesting to me. So let's talk. So I love to start out these videos by talking about my previous month's card and my current month's card. So for July, my card was the Nine of Wands. And if this was not spot on, when I pulled it at the beginning of the year, I was kind of like, oh God, not Nine of Wands. Because I've kind of explained to you guys that the past few years of my life have felt like Nine of Wands kind of moments and just constant Nine of Wands or Nine of Swords or Nine of Pentacles. It's like the nines have been my life lately. And so this definitely felt like this. I had a large vacation or a long vacation in July. It wasn't like I didn't go anywhere. It was a vacation from work because I have to take a lot of time or else I lose it. So during that week, I kind of was just feeling like I couldn't get my energy up. I felt very beat down. I felt just not myself, and that energy kind of quickly dissipated. It was only about like a week and a half that I felt like that. I feel like I usually kind of feel that way during the full moons of the month. So I definitely had this energy, but it quickly dissipated. It wasn't my whole entire month, but it definitely kind of made me feel like I was like slowly treading for a little bit. And the oracle card that I had for July was understanding. And I feel like this really pertained to my month in the fact I feel like I gained a lot of understanding about myself and what I want out of life and just how to treat myself, I suppose. And so, yes, I did gain quite a bit of understanding. And I also gained a lot of understanding about being grateful. Like, I feel like that was a main theme for my month of July, was being grateful for what I have and looking at how far I've come and where I am now and just how grateful and happy I am that my life is where it is at this point. So yes, definitely pertain to my month. So now for August, my cards are King of Cups. Now, when I saw this was my card for August, I wasn't quite sure where it was going with this. So King of Cups. I do have personal things going on in my life that I feel like need this King of Cups energy, like getting to an emotionally mature place or voicing my feelings on certain things, I think is really important. So we'll see how this kind of plays out in the month of August, but I definitely think that this paired with my oracle card are really important with the kind of things going on in my life. They're kind of personal, so I don't want to go into them too much, but the card I pulled for my oracle was Boundaries. So let's read the guidebook on what this has to say about boundaries. This is the Earth Wisdom oracle that I've been using for my monthly cards. So let's see. So you get a herb and a crystal for each month. So I have yarrow, helps establish and defend healthy boundaries, strengthens the aura and sense of self, and heals energetic wounds. Amber reinforces boundaries. Creating clear boundaries is necessary for maintaining good emotional, physical, and spiritual health. If your sense of identity is weak or if you need to heal energetic wounds, establishing boundaries is vital. Defend your right to thrive like a warrior, serving the divine spark that resides within you. That's really beautiful. I have a right to autonomy and independence. No one controls me without my permission. I know who I am. I think that's really beautiful because boundaries don't always have to be physical boundaries. They can be boundaries you set with yourself of, I am not going to say this to myself today. I am not going to put myself down or whatever. And so I think that's really beautiful, and this really speaks to where I am right now and what I'm working through in my own life. So those are my cards for the month. So let's talk, I guess, like random kind of memories and favorites for the month. I rewatched Breaking Bad for the third time. I watched it for the first time back in high school. That's when they were still releasing the seasons. I loved it. I rewatched it like 2 or 3 years ago. I loved it. I had kind of forgotten completely the story. This time I remembered quite a bit, but I decided to rewatch it again just because it's so good. And this time I really had a different perspective on the show. I feel like when I was younger, I really thought Walt was cool and like all this stuff. And now I'm like, this guy is horrible. He's like a sociopath. So I don't know. I had a really good time watching it. This time from a different perspective and kind of viewing it as how he affects everybody else and how the way you live your life can really affect others in a good or bad way. So I really enjoyed that. I also watched Bridgerton again, the second season, which came out a few months ago. I rewatched that and it was just, oh my gosh, it spoke to my soul. It's just such a good show to watch if you love like romance and that kind of cheesy stuff. So those were two kind of like TV things that I really loved. The other thing that I really focused on this month was my home. So my husband and I, we got new countertops, we got a brand new sink, so that was really exciting. And then we purchased a new couch, which was again really exciting because we've had like just really horrible dumpy couches for like years, and this was the first time we actually bought a brand new couch, and so that was really exciting. I also kind of redid the bedroom with new bedding. Like I bought a lot of new bedding and new blankets, and I bought this big like chunky knit blanket, which is really nice. And I don't know, I was looking at old photos I had from my guest room in my previous home that I don't know, I just had like this vibe in there, and I was kind of missing that in my bedroom, so it inspired me to kind of redecorate the bed. So that was fun. So I feel like I spent a lot of my money on my house this month, or this last month, and my time into just making it more my own. Like every little step that we go through, because this was such a fixer upper. When we got this home, it wasn't even livable, and at this point, it's kind of just fine tuning, and we're getting the big stuff done when we can. And for me, it's about decorating and buying pieces that I think really fit the aesthetic that I want from my house. And so getting there, I'm so excited to go Halloween shopping. I went into Marshall's the other day and they had a lot of Halloween stuff, and I didn't buy anything, but I'm going back and I'm buying stuff because a lot of the Halloween decor that I buy ends up being actual like home decor for me. So yes, that has been really fun, just making this space more my own and this home more of my own. So yeah. All right, let's talk books. So last month I was really excited that I had read 6 books. And last month I read 4 books. So not as many, but I was just so engrossed in the series that I kind of was taking it slow. I was relaxing. I kind of flew through a lot of the books, but I feel like I was trying to savor certain parts or certain books in the series. So I will show you. I read them all on my Kindle. I need to buy them physically because I think this is one of my favorite series like ever. So I read the entire From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout, I believe is how you say her name. So the first one is called From Blood and Ash, and it was very good. I feel like this is kind of my least favorite book in the series. I mean, it drew me in enough to make me want to read the other books in the series. But in the beginning, I was kind of annoyed with the main character. I was a little bit like, I don't know if I like her or not. It was a little bit like, I'm not sure. The storyline was a little bit like weird, and I didn't quite know where they were going with it. But where they went with it, I loved it. So, Kingdom of Flesh and Fire and The War of Two Queens. So the second one is The Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, and I feel like this is where I really fell in love with the book and I just loved it. And then The Crown of Gilded Bones was also really good. That's the third one, but I flew through that one because I wanted to get to the last one. So I feel like The Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, which is the second book, and The War of Two Queens, which is the last book, really are my favorites out of the series. Basically, to kind of summarize what it's about, the story follows this young woman who's kind of sheltered her entire life, and she starts to have a relationship with this guard, and it just goes on from there. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't know, I'm kind of feeling like this is more of a favorite for me than ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I feel like I actually like From Blood and Ash a little bit more. There are things about ACOTAR that I really love, and the last book specifically with Nesta and Cassian is one of my favorites. But something about this and the main female character kind of being stronger than the male character, and I don't know, there's something about that I really like, and not always having to be saved or whatever it is. I really, really like that. So I'm so happy to have read this series. I'm trying to find something to fill the void. I did start reading another series a few days ago, which I'm liking. It's not nearly as much as I loved this series, but maybe it'll get better, who knows, because I didn't really love the first book in this one either. If you guys have any kind of suggestions for me to read, if you like either of those series or that kind of are similar to that, please let me know, because I'm kind of like, I don't know what to read now. So yeah, so that was my kind of book favorites this month. All right, let's talk decks. I kind of just have random stuff on my desk here. So I feel like the main thing I just loved and used all of July is my Crimson Hysteria Tarot. I did mention her briefly in my June favorites, but I just can't keep my hands off of this deck. It's witchy and beautiful and magical, and I've spoken how I feel like how it speaks to me and the energy it gives is that it's very like treats me with respect, treats me as if I'm this like powerful witch. I don't know, I love this deck. It's beautiful. It's I'm so happy to have finally gotten this deck. It's been on my wish list for so long, and it's expensive, and so I kind of just put it on the back burner for quite a bit, but I knew it was something I wanted. I also really wish I could have the Solaro Occulto, which is her other deck, which is out of print, but supposedly she's going to be reprinting it. But this deck is gorgeous. It's kind of Rider-Waite-Smith, like it follows it a little bit, but it has its own kind of like spin on it. Like this one's very Rider-Waite, right? But I don't know, the court cards are very much like these creatures. I don't know, the cardstock is so beautiful on this. We have beautiful red gilding. These are the backs. It's this whole experience when you use this, and I love it. I love this deck. So that has definitely been probably the main kind of tarot favorite for this month. Next up, we have the Antique Anatomy. So I bought this when I was on vacation from work. My husband and I went to Barnes & Noble, and I'm so happy to have this in my collection. The previous month, I was just obsessed with Pagan Otherworlds, which this is also a favorite, so I'm mentioning it here. Pagan Otherworlds is so good, and it's like a pip deck, but it's pip with feelings. And I feel the same about this. This one's actually less so. I feel like Rider-Waite. Pagan Otherworlds is very much like Rider-Waite kind of inspired. This one is just like a straight up pip deck, but it has these like little nuggets that are beautiful. And I don't know, it's just allowing me to read more numerologically instead of like with the imagery, but it does still allow the intuition to go. So I adore this deck. It's been such a palette cleanser from all of the very illustrated decks that I have. to have something so clean and less cluttered. So I absolutely adore this deck. I love the aesthetic of it. I love the book. The box is so cute. So that has definitely been a favorite. Next up, I feel like these are all ones you guys are going to know about because I talk about them in my weekly deck selections. This is the Intuitive Night Goddess. This has quickly become a favorite for me. It is stunning, this deck. If you're interested in hearing like a very kind of interesting, scary story with this deck, please go watch my latest tarot chat because I kind of spoke about my experience with this deck and how it was so accurate. And I don't know, this deck is so feminine and dark and beautiful, and it feels like you're walking through this world and you're meeting all these wonderful, beautiful women that are powerful and magical, and I don't know, it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. And I'm not normally someone to enjoy like collage style decks like this, but it's one that you would just have to kind of look at the, I don't know if you can see, she has a third eye, I don't know. It's something you would have to kind of physically just hold in your hand, and then, I don't know, the energy for me is what really has made me love this deck. It just has this very feminine, powerful energy. So, loving this deck, Intuitive Night Goddess. Beautiful. Okay, so what else do I have here? Let's talk about this baby. This is the Pamela Coleman Smith's Tarot. It's the one with this back. It's just an RWS deck, but it's super like muted and like grungy looking. This deck read so well for me for a client. And it shuffles like a dream, and I'm just obsessed with it. Like I think this might be my new favorite Rider-Waite, like at least for using for clients. I do really love, I mean, this is my main baby right here. This is my Centennial Borderless, and I love the coloring on this. It's just the cardstock that throws me a little bit with this deck. This deck is like my #1 for sure, but I think that it's just the usability of this deck and how easy it is to shuffle just really kind of puts it over the edge for me. I mean, it's just a normal Rider-Waite deck, but I really love how like muted it is, and I used it with the Sacred Destiny, which I really loved these as a pair. I guess I'll show you real quick. They just worked really, really beautifully together. I mean, look at this. It says abundance. I don't know. I really love these together, and the keywords on this. I'm just glad I gave it a chance to work with clients because I don't normally bring this deck out, just because for me, the keywords are a little bit like, all right, you know, like I usually like a saying or like a larger concept to kind of focus on than just a keyword for myself usually, or I like a few keywords, but for clients I feel like that's just the perfect amount. So I absolutely love this version of the RWS, and she's definitely been a favorite this month. Okay, do I have anything else? I think that might be it. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun filming, so I have the Tarot Extremes tag, which is probably going up after this one. And I have some other tags that I really want to film, so yeah. But I really hope you guys had a really good month of July. Please let me know what you did or what brought you happiness during that month. Can you believe that it's already August? Because I cannot believe it. It's insane. Are you excited for Halloween like I am? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's not even funny. But I love you guys so, 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 so much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.